So I am excited to talk to Kevin D. Turner. I do not remember how many times Kevin has been on Supercharged Fridays. And before I bring him on, just let me know you can hear and see properly because I know because of the technical difficulties we were having, I just want to make sure that things are working as they should. Could you come in and give a thumbs up? Because if you give me a like, that's lovely, but I can't see your like. So just give me a thumbs up to let me know that everything is working as it should. And I'm going to bring on Kevin. Kevin's had a very interesting career trajectory. He's worked at Sony. He's worked at the American Heart Association, the American Teacher Association, lots of different things. And he's been training people on LinkedIn for almost 20 years and knows the company and the features as well as anyone. And he's got a lot to teach us, and he works with individuals, he works with companies. I think we're like really lucky to have him because he's become so popular. I am shocked that I didn't have to go through an agent to get him on board. So without further ado, let's welcome back Kevin. I don't know how many times you've been on Supercharged Fridays. Welcome back. It's great to have you.
Sonal, thank you very much. And I'll let my agent know, right? No, I'm always excited to be here. You do such an incredible job in taking care of job seekers that I have to be here. Anytime you call, I'm here. And I'm really excited because it's going to be the 20th anniversary or birthday or whatever you want to call it, May 5th for LinkedIn. And to me, that's amazing.
LinkedIn is going to be 20 on May 5th. Wow.
Yeah. Can you imagine? I still can't think that it's been that long. I actually came in about a year and a half in to the process. I came in the first month of 2005.
Yeah.
But I have been training since 2005 because I got so excited about it. And I used to do these kind of give backs where I would get in front of groups of job seekers who were looking to figure out this new system. And back then it was a huge advantage because only a percentage of people were on there and recruiters were already using it.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's one of the things that's amazing. Yeah. You've been doing it for so long. I've been on LinkedIn since 2005 as well, but I was a user. I was a consumer. I was not. Last thing I had in my mind was I would take this platform seriously. Never thought about that. So we're going to get into, because we have lots to learn, because the platform has evolved so much, not only between 2003 and now in 20 years, but also in the last 5 years, in the last 1 year, in the last 1 month. Like, it is so hard to keep up. Somebody needs a full-time job just to keep up with changes. And you have been on this road trip with different people from around the world talking about LinkedIn and all these features. My audience, as you know, is on job search and careers. So I know that you will teach us a lot about personal branding, but folks you guys are watching here today, thank you for being here. Also, write in the city, where are you watching us from? Not just the country, but the city. I love geeking out on that stuff.
Yeah.
And also, I think there'll be a lot that you are going to teach us that we can walk away with, which can be applied in different parts, not just on LinkedIn. I think that your knowledge and wisdom is broader than that. So happy to get it, started. And let's talk about, you said there were 10. We're going to cover them as quickly as possible because I know you're busy. But I also, at the same time, want to tell anyone who's watching this, you work in a company, and a companies, who want to hire people who understand LinkedIn so that they can make the most of LinkedIn. Please think of Kevin. Think of great coaches like Kevin. Think of, people who know this inside out. So yeah, let's get into it, Kevin. So I'm going to thank you guys for joining and for being patient with us. I'm going to put a chapter on top so that people know that we actually got into the meat of it close to the 5-minute mark. After the chit-chat. So Kevin, talk to us about these 10. We're going to take notes from you. Let's start with the first feature, which is recent and relevant for job search and careers.
Absolutely. And I do want to say, I'm going to apologize because it was not Sonal who is late. It was my technology. And, sometimes when all else fails, it's just good to reboot. And that's what we ended up doing. We tried making all sorts of adjustments. Nothing worked. So
no, I think what you just said is relevant. Thank you for that. But I think it's very relevant. Even when we're tired and things aren't going anywhere in our career, it's just restart. Sometimes the system needs a restart. So there's a metaphor there in what you said.
I
Much
absolutely
more
agree with that. I
appreciated.
think that's a perfect way to think of things. And
Yeah.
often we don't do that. And that's one of the things that I always focus on. I say that most people on LinkedIn are not personally branding themselves, they're personally blanding themselves, right? They throw
Personal
everything
branding.
in and think somebody on the other side will figure it out. Let's not do that. Let's focus.
Let's
And the
focus.
features we're going to talk about hopefully will help us focus as well. But you still got to get all your messaging right, right?
Yes.
That's
Yes.
very important because we're going to go right into features, but you've got to get all the other components set to go so that when you are using these and people are coming back to your profile, it makes sense, right? Because there's nothing worse than driving traffic to your profile using great features and then they go, I don't get it. Right.
Disappointing. No, I 100% agree. And let's get into it. But I want to give a quick shout out to folks, friends. Adam is here. I think Jeff Young is here. Risto is here. Hi, guys. Thank you for being here. Yvonne, Ashish, lovely to see old names and new. And also, one quick thing before we start, because this is the live stream part of things. This is the first time we are broadcasting live on Kevin's account and my account. So when you're writing in the comments, tell us where you're watching from. I get tickled by that. So, Kevin, 10 features. Number 1, let's go.
Number 1 is a hidden feature, and it's called market value titles. And why is that important? If you think about LinkedIn right now, we're almost 1 billion members. So when somebody says you're 1 in a million, no, you're 1 in a billion on LinkedIn. You want to be found. And so market value filters, what those are, almost like you have in the library, you have the Dewey Decimal System, right? Books are all the way down to the zeros and ones. You can find any book you want in the Library of Congress, which has like 400,000 books, all because of the numbers. Market value titles are the same on LinkedIn. Now, where do you find market value titles? You find them in areas like location, title for your position, company, education. So what you want to do is go back to your profile, and anywhere you get a drop-down box when you're entering, type it in and select from the drop-down box. Because if you select from the drop-down box, you are now in a filter that anybody using the LinkedIn database can then find you. So we learned this many years ago. We did a transition for the head of HR for an internet-based company. His title was Cloud9 Navigator. Nobody could find him on LinkedIn. Kind of silly, right? That's internet for you. We changed it to Chief Human Resource Officer. And within 2 weeks, he was picked up right off LinkedIn by a couple of recruiters, and he moved into his just dream job. So market value filters, really critical.
Market value filters. I think I know what your market value titles, which comes from the drop downs. So what you're saying is we're not talking about LinkedIn headline under the face, under the headshot. We're not talking about that. We're talking about when you go to the work experience section, and
or even location up above, right? Because LinkedIn changed their location database, and 40% of the locations that we picked in the past no longer exist. And
why?
So you're invisible. So you got to go check all.
Why do those locations no longer exist?
Because LinkedIn updated its database and changed about 30% of the locations.
So they did like some kind of a cleanup, and you're saying a similar sort of cleanup has happened in the drop-down filters in the work experience.
They've done it.
When you get something from,
that you find that even in the if you have a certification, or if you have education, higher education, they've adjusted those. So you want to go through and do it, basically as a profile audit, any of those areas where you get a drop down when you're typing something in, right? You want to go in there and check and make sure that your drop down is there and selected. And select the one from the drop down, because if you type it kind of similar, it's not going to work. Now, the other piece of that is LinkedIn. If you haven't really built out your profile, LinkedIn can recognize market value filters. Let's say if you used sales manager, right, or sales representative, LinkedIn through its database and AI are going to assign skills that you might not have assigned yet to that position, because they understand that position really well. You always hear about recruiters saying, don't tell me your responsibilities, I already know them, right? Tell me what you did. LinkedIn's kind of doing the same thing, because we're telling LinkedIn our achievements. We're not always telling it the responsibilities or those base skills. So LinkedIn is now assuming base skills to market value titles. So another reason you want to get this right, and you want to be found. If you
You
think
want to be
about,
found. Yep.
if you had a warehouse full of files, it was a billion files, and everybody made up their own file folder label, we'd never find anything.
100%.
Kind of what's happening.
100%.
Yeah.
This is, I think this is a power packed tip in itself, and I'm just going to unpack it because it was the first one you shared. And for anyone who's like, oh my god, like what just happened, we got you, don't worry. So what you said was there's three things in here when it comes to the market value. This is when it comes to location, select what is in the drop down. If you're in a particular city, select it adjacent. I'm guessing, Kevin, if I'm in a suburb, I'm going to select the city that's closest to me and a big name and the
Yes, big net.
and
Always go big net, right?
big catchment area. You want to
in Dallas, we're going to put Dallas Fort Worth.
Dallas Fort Worth. So you want to increase the catchment area and so that you are found in that. I'm guessing it's miles, right? Kilometers or miles. Same with locations. Same with titles. This is there is a time and place to be cute and creative. This is not it.
That's the fastest way to be invisible, is cute and creative.
And you want to be visible.
In those drop-down boxes.
Cute and creative comes later. What you want to do is you want to be clear. And how you can be clear is look at the job that you're going to add, the position. So just choose what comes in the drop-down. Just choose it blindly. Don't have to think too much. And you're saying the third thing, LinkedIn will recommend certain skills that I may have had. Obviously, we need to add there's an AI element in there. We need to bring our own intelligence and see which of these are applicable. All this will help you to climb up in the search results. This is what we want. There's an expression I've used so many times. If you want to look for a dead body, go to page 2 of Google. No one goes there. Same with LinkedIn. You want to be higher up
on LinkedIn, right?
So you want to be higher up in the search results.
There's
no point of having a fantastic profile if nobody knows where you are, who you are, what you are. So fantastic. So feel free to ask. I'm also saying this to the audience. If something is ringing, it's striking you, interesting, you're entertained, you're amused, you're confused, just share, please. This is the whole point. And we have a fellow peer expert here, and Jeff says, if you don't follow Jeff, I'm looking at you. If you don't follow Jeff, please follow Jeff. Jeff's amazing. Absolutely. If you stream from both accounts, you will see all the comments, Sonal, but others will only see the comments on their stream. I got it. I can only see comments from Kevin. So, Jeff, you come to my stream. Why are you going to Kevin? Hey,
don't go to Kevin's stream.
What nonsense. Come on. We're friends. Come on, Jeff. Forget Kevin. Anyway, so that is tip number 1, market value. I like how you called it. So stick to what is already decided by LinkedIn. Tip number 2.
Engage that database and it'll engage you. Number 2, and this is, I think, one of the best features that LinkedIn has, and everybody forgets it's there or never knew it was there. It's called Career Explorer. And what Career Explorer will do is it will basically look at your profile and allow you to choose a title of what you want to do next, right? And then it's going to score your profile against that. So what it will do is it'll say, these are the skills that we think you have. These are the skills that are required by the position you want to have. Here's the ones you share in common. Here's the ones you need to work on, right? Here's the ones you already have. So it shows you your transferable skills. Now, what it also does, and I think this is really cool of LinkedIn, is it shows how many people, or not how many people, but the percentage of people who have successfully pivoted into this new position. So it shows you kind of likelihood of it happening. You can even tweak industries, as well as titles, and it's going to tell you whether that's going to be something that you should try to do. If it says it's a 20% likelihood, you're going to have to put a lot of effort in there. If it says 85% of the people were successful in making this pivot, that's probably a pivot you can pull off, which really helps with the changing job market. Some industries, some positions, they may go away. They may open up similar stuff in other areas. This is the way you can compare it and find out. It's also one of the best places to figure out skills that you should have then listed on your profile. Because if it's coming up with these skills and you have them, but it says you don't, it's probably because you didn't have them in your skills list and you didn't have them skills assigned. So this is a great tool called Career Explorer. It's a little wonky when you first open it up because it kind of tries to visually display it. Just scroll down the page. Takes about 3 or 4 pages to scroll down, and you'll see a box that says location. That's where you want to start this tool. Forget about their tutorial. I've got a link to a video that I explain everything at Sonal can post. And I've also got the link to Career Explorer, which is actually on LinkedIn's GitHub account. Not even
that is so funny. So thank you, Kevin. So first of all, it is so useful, Career Explorer. However, it's a hidden resource. It is not, in plain sight. In fact, they make you go through hoops. Yeah, don't tell anybody we told you so. One amazing resource is, if you don't already know, go to Kevin's LinkedIn profile. But Kevin, do you have your YouTube account mentioned in the featured section?
Yes, I do.
Follow Kevin, because a lot of things he's talking about, he's got demos and he shows them on YouTube, and they are stored under videos. The library is amazing, so definitely follow. Career Explorer is very cool. I thought for a while, Kevin, it wasn't available in all countries. I'm not quite sure if that is still the case, but nevertheless, take advantage. Now, how do you get there? Kevin, you will share the link with me. I'll put it in the comments. So if you guys are watching on YouTube, come in and check the comments on LinkedIn, because they will be the most thorough. But it's not easy to get there. You have to, like I said, just there's some obstacle course you need to
go
through.
It's GitHub. That's where they keep all their skunk work stuff. But you want to use that tool because it is cool. It'll give you a lot of information, really easy to understand once you get in. But if you watch the video, you'll be able to use that tool like a pro, and it's going to save you a lot of time and make you much more attractive to.
And if it's really, really helpful, you may not have to hire a coach, because sometimes you know what you want, you know how to get there, and you just need a little bit of nudge in the right place. So many free resources out there. And I know I'm a coach, I'm still saying that don't always go and spend the big bucks on hiring a career coach when it may not be the solution you're looking for. Right.
Plus, you're always better off coming in prepared, right?
Yeah.
If you have an idea, you're going to do better with a coach that then can refine that instead of start from zero and get you anyway.
Exactly. That's what I meant. If Career Explorer is not, if you've maxed it and you've, completely did the best you could with it, and it's still you need more, then you go to a coach. But don't go to a coach right away. Explore your options, and Career Explorer is definitely an option. So the question about where to find, we just talked about it. It's a GitHub account. It's not easy to access, but Kevin will share the link with us, and I will post it at the end of the live stream. And a quick note here, because I saw that some once in a while the broadcast is wonky. I'm so sorry that is happening, but the best thing is, if you're watching on LinkedIn, you have 2 options. Either you refresh your feed, we'll be back, we promise. Otherwise, LinkedIn is not that reliable. Sometimes you're better off going to my YouTube channel and watching it live there. All right. So Career Explorer is amazing. I've tried it. I love it. Talk to us about the third hidden resource, Kevin.
Okay. This one actually is new, just starting to come out. Mm-hmm. It's called Enhance. And what Enhance is, it's AI powered, using this new relationship between Microsoft and OpenAI, ChatGPT, right? Because Microsoft owns LinkedIn and Microsoft owns 49% of ChatGPT. So what this does is, and it's premium only today, it may change, but if you are in transition and you've never taken advantage of free premium, you can get free premium and then you can use this tool. What this tool is going to do is it's going to help you write a about section as well as a headline at the top, right? That should be very effective if you filled out the rest of the content on your LinkedIn profile. So you definitely want to get in there. And if you're using market value titles, this is going to be even more effective. What I find is, if you have nothing, this is a fantastic tool. If you have something, this is a great tool to use, because what it's going to do is it's going to give you a lot of keywords that you may not have thought about that recruiters are looking for in those positions, right? And then I always say, blend it. Use your personality, bring a little of that in, but use some of the components. And that's the nice thing about this. LinkedIn realizes that AI is not authentically intelligent, right? It's artificially intelligent. It needs people to make it better. And so in the process of using Enhance, LinkedIn actually suggests, hey, look at this. Don't replace it immediately. Look at it, review it, edit it, and then come up with your own version. But you could just accept it as is. If you have nothing, it'll get you something that's going to be effective. And then in the long run, you want to evolve that and bring more personality into it.
Yeah, I
That's going
think
to
that's
be an incredible tool. And if you don't have premium, you can turn premium on one time for 30 days free.
the free trial. Yes.
You got it. And I always tell people, make sure that you put a tickler in your calendar 3 days out, 2 days out, 1 day out, because if you go 1 day over, they're going to
You will be charged. Your credit card will be charged. So, Kevin, how do we access this enhanced tool when we sign up for premium? The free trial,
once
of
you
course.
have premium,
Yeah,
it will pop up. Now, it is in process of rolling out. So if you want to take advantage,
is it in beta? Is it in beta right now?
No, it's actually in full rollout. Okay. So I would say if somebody really wants this tool, wait maybe another 60 days before they try their free premium trial. Right? Because then it'll be available to them. But this is a really kind of cool tool. And it's showing that LinkedIn is going to be using more AI on its site to help us make better profiles. And there are other things that they're working on in that same area. But this is kind of the first step in helping us have better profiles that are more effective in the database and speak to what recruiters want to see from us. So it's a cool tool, and there's more coming. So I wanted to kind of point that out.
Okay, cool. I'm just going to answer a couple of very quick questions. I want to come back to what you said, which I thought was very interesting. Adesh, hello. And I saw another question here from Shalini. Hi, guys. Thank you for tuning in, Adesh and Shalini. So how do I get this job? How do I get supply chain? How do I get HR? These are such good questions, right? So go back and watch the replay because Kevin's talking about the keywords. You need to pay attention to the filter. If you want to be found, watch that. And if you have still further questions, join me next week for Ask Me Anything. And I love the, so secondly, I want to say thank you to Saurabh because Saurabh has listed the LinkedIn GitHub account. You rock, Saurabh. Thank you very, very much. And by the way, connect with each other on LinkedIn. This is such cool networking. You all are interested in the topic. You follow Kevin, you follow me. You have these three things in common. That's a great reason to connect with someone. Personalize your connection request. Don't send a blank, lazy one. I like what you said, AI being artificially intelligent. It is not authentically intelligent. It is not supposed to replace you or your intelligence. So you got to combine it. And the best of both is when they come together. I have never heard of Enhance, so I had no idea about this. So this is brand new, fresh off the press information that has come up with the LinkedIn Premium, which I feel like it's going to give, so many other, career coaches like a run for their money because it's already bringing people one step closer to what their ideal profile should look like. Right?
It makes us step up our game, right?
It does.
That's what we like to do anyway. We don't want to be in the minutia. We want to be in the refined, step the game up.
I agree. I don't want to calculate. The calculator didn't replace me if I like maths, right? It just made me faster. It made me better at what I do. So
we make rock stars, not roadies, right? We want to make rock stars, not roadies. So
I like that.
Use these tools. Get ready to become the rock star. We can help you get the rest done.
Yeah, exactly. And hey guys, feel free to go to your privacy settings and change because I can't see your name if you're going to come in as LinkedIn user. So Paula is asking, hi Paula, is LinkedIn updating or putting resources into this tool? I'm guessing she was talking about the Career Explorer tool, I think. I'm not sure, or Enhance, or both.
They are updating Career Explorer.
Okay.
So we're going to talk about a couple other tools that may have even more accurate information. But I like Career Explorer for the pivotability. And that is incredible because you can't find anywhere else.
Understood. Love that. And how do you access premium? Oh, it's very easy because they want you to access it. That they will make easy for you. Career Explorer, not so much. But that you go into your LinkedIn account and you check your account. There's a way to upgrade.
If you click on that little tiny picture of you, the arrow drop down, it's called Me. Click Me and you'll see upgrade to premium. It'll be prominently displayed.
This just shows you, Kevin. I mean, we're going to go to point number 4, but this just shows you that it's not intuitive as a platform because you kind of have to go through, to get.
And I will give you a quick tip. If you're going to get premium, even on a free trial, go to LinkedIn Learning and get premium
Yes.
at LinkedIn Learning because it's usually 30-40% cheaper.
Cheaper.
Same
LinkedIn
stuff,
Learning.
cheaper. It's kind of like you go into
100%.
Aldi grocery store, right? You get the same stuff cheaper. Definitely do it. Do it through
Yeah.
LinkedIn Learning.
It should be working, LinkedIn users. Just definitely check that out. So Kevin, what's point number 4?
Point number 4, and this one I love, and it's basically coming out today, and I haven't even written about this one.
Oh my God. Are you saying it's a world premiere? It's like
you're the first to know about this. I have a post coming out. I couldn't get it out this morning because of all the other issues we had. So
yeah.
What this one is it's now going to be your top 5 skills, right? That you say you have. You will now be able to attach those to your about section. And it's actually called top skills. And the reason they did this is because they had skills and then they had skills assign, right? Where you assign skills to a position. And they said, oh, just pick 5. Well, everybody picked 50, right? And the beauty of skills assign is what it does is it gives number of years of having that skill. So if your skill was sales, right, and you attached it to 3 positions and those 3 positions added up to 12 years, they could say you now have 12 years of sales. That's what skills assign was supposed to do, but we were only supposed to pick 5, but everybody picked more than 5, and that's fine. So then they redefined this and said, we're going to allow you to pick your top skills for the about section. And what it's going to do is it's actually going to look at your profile, look at your skills, suggest, and they might not even be in your skills list yet. It might suggest ones that you really should be using to be found. What's cool about that is they're looking at your total profile saying, this is what we think are your top 5 skills, not what you scored top 5, not what people gave you endorsements for, but what they think are your top 5 to move you forward. Look at those, decide if they're right, click on them. They'll add those to your about section, and I have a new little box that actually say top skills, got a little sparkly stars on it. It's going to be what recruiters will look for as your top skill sets. So brand new today. I'm going to be writing something up about it right after the event today. And I'll send that out so you get to see some visuals on it. You'll be the first to kind of see that. Anytime you want to know about new LinkedIn features, I hope I deliver those to you. And we were talking about that. It's gotten so complicated. There's already over 60 for this year. Last year, there was over 100. That's how fast it's coming. And because it's coming so fast, I have to rely on many people to even help me stay up with it. I always say they have eagle eyes and sharing hearts, and I give them credit in the process. So if you discover a new LinkedIn feature out there, get it to me and I will give you credit. You'll be on the list forever. And a lot of people go to that list to kind of find out what's new, to give them that competitive advantage every day on LinkedIn.
100%. Thank you. So this is brand new information, hot off the press. And what you're saying is you can attach your skills to your about section, and it will help if your skills are already there in the work experience part, then LinkedIn will suggest add this. It will help you to stand out.
Only 5 is going to go in there.
5. And I think it would be too crowded if it were more than that. It would look like this crazy laundry list, right? So what you're saying is that this would help you to stand out. And I'm guessing how it would appear, because I'm visually imagining that it would appear like at the bottom, automate, like populated automatically from your work experience, and it adds the weight, which is the number of years. You haven't like done one.
Well, this won't do years. Skills assigns calculates number of years. This is just going to be your top 5 skills, and it'll be at the bottom of your about section. But it's what LinkedIn, they're going to tell you what we think you should put there. That may give you a perspective, 2 things of what does LinkedIn think I do, right? And if it's wrong, then you've got to adjust some of your content. If they're coming up with the top 5 skills and you go, wow, I don't even really do that, or I don't want to do that going forward, then you need to really look at your content and say, I've got to change what this content says, because our profile should be designed to move us forward. If you did something in the past you don't ever want to do again, even if you did it well, I did payroll and tax accounting calculated by hand. I hated it, never want to do it again. You'll never see it on my LinkedIn profile or anywhere else. So it would never be suggested as one of my top 5 skills. it's a good kind of check to see, do I have my content in order to move me forward? When they make their suggestions, that's what they think you are. So if it's not accurate, you got to work on the content a little bit. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
It does make sense. And I think that's going back to what you were saying about AI being artificially intelligent, not authentically intelligent. That is where you come in. And you want to highlight skills that you actually want to be known for and you want to apply in your career. So if I do video editing and I'm good at it, I'm never going to write video editing anywhere in my profile because I don't want to be contacted for that.
Yeah.
No.
That's something you do because you have to do, right? You don't want to be
Yeah,
known
it's very
for it.
different. It's very different.
And
So
always think of things in that way. Put
yeah.
in there what you want to be known for, what moves you forward. Get rid of the stuff that doesn't.
Yeah, 100%. So Kevin, does everyone have access or is this going to be rolled out in waves?
It's rolled out anytime it's a new feature, right? On average, it takes 90 days. It
Yeah.
goes out in what's called a 5-wave process. So
Yeah.
5 waves go out, they're randomized. So nobody gets an advantage.
No,
right?
but this is important because otherwise it will break, I think, because there's so many layers of code, like you
That's
said
the
last
reason
time.
they do it. So
That's the reason they do it.
by doing this randomized, sized, right? They small portion and they get it bigger as they go down the waves, and then they time it. And during that process of those waves, just like you think about an ocean, waves coming in, they can then look at it and say, is it breaking the site? Is it working the way it should? Are people using it the way it should? And they'll make adjustments to it. So at the end of the 5 waves, you should have kind of the perfect feature. So sometimes it's not good to have the first wave, although sometimes it's fun.
Yeah,
Sometimes
because
it's the one that doesn't work, that shuts your profile down for 5 days. It's not always the best to be the first wave. Sometimes it's the best to be the wave that comes to you.
Exactly. And it's also, the guinea pig, right? You don't always want people doing experiments on you. So thank you for tuning in, guys. Let's see some new faces here. Nimish, I don't think we're going to be covering topic of content creation today particularly, but the good news is we have the lovely Jayant Ghosh. Hi, Jayant. Ki khabor? So check out Jayant's very generous reply, and hopefully that should help you as well. And if I see questions here, I'm not going to ignore them. Don't worry. But if they're not sort of very related to the topic, Anshul, I promise to get back. I will reply on LinkedIn and help you with your question. So in the meantime, oh my gosh, we've only done 4. Kevin, let's step it up.
and Jen must have read my list because the next thing is about content. But it's about content creators.
So it is about content creator. Okay,
yeah.
Nimish, you are in luck. Let me flash.
We know that our feed is really important, right? There's opportunity in our feed, but sometimes our feed is full of junk, right? LinkedIn will feed us junk food in our feed. We want to gain control of it.
Yes.
So one of the things that you can do to gain control of your feed is you can go and you can do a search for posts, right? And when you go in and do your search for posts, you might select the time frame for the post. I like last 24 hours, right? And if you have a premium account, you can actually go to a point where you can select by author. What's nice about that is you can create a list, right? Basically a filter that says, I want to see the last 24 hours from these content producers. And when you click that, that's what you're going to see. You're going to see a whole new feed that you have now hand chosen that has no advertising in it. Well, that's kind of hard to retype that in every single day. If you take that concept and then you bookmark it on your browser, what you end up with is a 1-point click that you can now have a customized feed that only has what you want in it. You could customize that feed to post of the 10 or 15 companies that I want to work for, right? So if the company posts anything in the last 24 hours, you can see that every single day. If you want to follow the leadership of a company, you could make that a separate bookmark filter. This is kind of a great way to get control. And part of content creation on LinkedIn is LinkedIn values profiles and people, members on LinkedIn that are producing content or are supporting content. LinkedIn knows that's the number one reason that most people come to LinkedIn. It's not actually for job seeking, it's for knowledge. And they know if they will up that game, right, and more people will come to LinkedIn and stay. Well, this is a way to do that, but avoid all the ads from LinkedIn, avoid the algorithms that say this is what you should be looking at. You're going to pick what you want to look at. You're going to create that filter and you're going to bookmark it. And I've got a video that we can put on this list. We can post the list. I've got a video that kind of teaches you how to do that if you're not familiar with the concept.
Beautiful.
That is huge.
Yeah,
and
that is huge.
You want to
and
get out there and start commenting on posts, because that's how you begin a relationship. If you see an author you like, follow them, create this favorite LinkedIn content filter, click on it every day, go to their post, add a value added comment. And the reason I say value added comment, good post or thank you is not value added, right?
Or not even words, like a thumbs up.
Yeah, thumbs up. That's not value add. You want to add something to the discussion. Normally you want to support them, right? Because you want to talk to them, you want to build a relationship. And you can even, say, does it work in this industry? I've tried this, and this. This also works. I really like what you're doing. Give them value back and begin a conversation. You would be surprised how many people are, first of all, connected now to people that would never pick up a phone if you called them, would never answer your email if you emailed them, right? But now they're having a conversation with you. And people are getting hired because of those conversations. So
100%.
You know what you do well.
Yeah.
Find that content and communicate what you do well in support of what they're already doing. And you've got a relationship building now at high levels. And when HR looks for somebody and they go, wow, Sonal is also, connected to our CEO, our CMO, our director of boom, 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 boom. And they're having conversations. Sonal's at the top of the list.
This is so powerful. I don't know if anyone realizes how powerful this is, because if you're born particularly after 1997, for me, that was the year, I think, when, internet became mainstream for most of us. If you're born after 1997, then you haven't done what Kevin did back in the early 90s, which was write letters to Sony, and how you got an internship at Tokyo. You remember when you were flown to Tokyo? The democratization of access with what you just said. And if anyone is running a business here and you're watching us and you run a business, you're very familiar with something called Sales Navigator. What Kevin just said is a free version of Sales Navigator. It just requires a little bit of tool tweaking and adjusting on your side. Not only is it beneficial because you will be one of the first to comment when a top recruiter that you're following at that company, when he or she posts, but also you don't have to see junk, which I've got to say LinkedIn has got a lot. There'll be a I learned this new word today, dimfluencer post with 3 lines, and the thing says agree at the bottom with a thumbs up, and there's 20,000 likes. So something weird is going on. How can this person get so many likes? It doesn't make sense. So there's some weird bot artificial stuff going on in there. You don't have to see that. You've got full control on your diet. And this is a way to eat green vegetables that are tasty, and just check out the fries.
Pizza. If it moves you forward, that's what you should be doing. And this does. If you really turn LinkedIn content into an opportunity to build relationships, you're going to be ahead of the game. Even if you're building it at a certain level, and then that recruiter for the company, when they look at your profile and they look at your activity, they're going to say, wow, they're already talking to all our top leaders and they're adding value. This is the kind of person we want here.
Exactly. Right? And I think that is really important. And Hannah's watching us. Hannah is also saying bookmarking and creating a list is her favorite thing, and creates lots and lots of time, saves a lot of time. Yeah, thank you. Dimfluencer is not mine. I think Dorothy Dalton talked about it on today's post. In fact, it was today's post when I found that term very funny. Jayant is saying,
now there's AI-powered dimfluencers.
Yeah.
So they're not even smart enough to create their own dimness.
Yeah, it's a whole different level of dimness. Oh my goodness. And there was a question here that I wanted to answer about LinkedIn Premium. The fact that LinkedIn Premium is cheaper, and how do you get the fact that it's cheaper than LinkedIn Learning is cheaper than this one. So what Kevin said was, if you go just to LinkedIn Learning, it's a separate. It's not the LinkedIn website. You go to LinkedIn website, you'll find LinkedIn Learning. Go there. So don't pay for it. Get a 30-day free trial, and you have the premium features, which you would get from premium. But if premium costs 100, you're saying LinkedIn Learning costs maybe 70 or 65.
I think it's more like $70 for premium in the US. You can get that same premium on LinkedIn Learning for $39.
Yeah, got it.
Almost half.
Wow.
Much better, but you've got to find it. So it's not the easiest thing to find, but you go to that LinkedIn Learning site, and towards the bottom, they're always going to have a listing for, upgrade to premium. That's what you want to click on. They should offer it to you free for 30 days. And believe it or not, LinkedIn now has different pricing for locations. So a US price you wouldn't see in India, right?
It would be a different purchasing power. Oh, that's good to know. That's good to know.
So they're now zero or geo-targeting pricing now.
Okay, got it. That makes sense.
That's why I always hate to even quote US price, because that's just US. And they're even going to zero target within US. So if you're in Nebraska, you will pay less than you're in New York
San Francisco. Got it.
Yeah, exactly. Makes sense.
Got it. Amazing. Yeah, Jayant is totally like a big fan, and Kevin, the fact that he's amazing is the reason. I don't even remember now. Are you fifth time back here, Kevin? Fourth or fifth time? I think fifth. I'm not sure. I can't keep up.
Yeah, I'm not good with counting. No. But it is somewhere around there.
Yeah, I thought we'd be done in half an hour, but we're not. So I think we have less than 15 minutes to go. Tell us about point number 6.
Okay. Point number 6. This one's really cool. If you go to a company page and you scroll down a little bit on the company page, you'll see a box pop up. This is a brand new rolling out. So it could be anywhere from 30 to 90 days before you see yours. But on the company page, if you see a little box that says, I'm interested, click it. And what that does is it tells the company that you're interested in working for that company. Company then will come back and look at your profile. This is a way to find hidden jobs for your target companies. So really kind of a cool tool, and no charge to it. It's a free premium.
Just repeat. So when you go to a company page, let's say I'm interested in, I don't know, an up and coming startup, which is, let's say scaling up, right? Let's call it ABC. So I'm interested in that company. They have a LinkedIn page.
Yep.
I go there. What do I do now?
You just scroll down on that first page, and what should pop up is a box that says, I'm interested.
Is that a feature that's already rolled out everywhere?
It's anywhere from 30 to 90 days before somebody might see this, but you want to keep an eye out for it, because you could have it today and not know.
Okay.
And why check 30 days later, right? So every now and then, just look at company pages, and that company page technically has to be using LinkedIn Recruiter, which a good portion of the big companies are. So
correct.
When you see that pop up, click it, because that puts you in this kind of new category with those company recruiters that say, hey, I'm focusing on this company. I want to work here. Let's have a conversation. It's really kind of a cool tool, and not enough people are using it. I've had mine for about a month now. So it's, 30 days already into that 90-day potential rollout. So look for it. You may have it. And if you do, get in now, because that's going to give you an advantage over everybody else. If they're still waiting on their rollout, get in early. As soon as you see it, click on it for those companies that you really, really want to work for.
I see. So following the company is not enough anymore.
Nope. This goes beyond because I could follow companies, right? I follow yours, but I'm not looking to work at your company, right? So follow is a completely different message. This is, I want to work for you.
Understood. Okay, good to know. Good to know. And I think another thing that's good to know is Jayant says sometimes the rollout can be beyond 90 days, because he's been waiting for one particular feature for a while. And
what that signifies is there's a problem with that particular
makes sense
product. And maybe you don't want it, like Carousel.
Yes.
Carousel's been now out for 7 months. Same thing, dark mode took over a year to complete the rollout, and some people still don't have it.
Yeah.
Some stuff just doesn't work like it should, and those rollouts are always longer than they should be. But averages 30 to 90 days is an average for rollouts.
Understood. Understood. So that's the other end of the spectrum. That's beyond average. All right. What's point number 7, Kevin?
Point number 7, audio and live events like today, right? But also the audio events, the networking tab. This is kind of like a hidden treasure trove, because if you join a live or an audio event, right, and you've actually accepted, or if you accepted and then didn't show up, maybe you did team replay, that's cool too. But if you go to that networking tab, you can now basically contact anybody in the networking tab. And that's anybody else who came to the event or said they were coming to the event. You now have a direct access to them. So let's say Richard Branson puts on his audio event, right? You could then go in, click on Richard Branson, and send him a message. If you're not connected with him, LinkedIn will even provide a free in-mail for you to send. Really kind of a cool deal. Most people don't get it. One of the things I love to do, if there's an audio event or a live event, often I'll take a screenshot and I'll send it to somebody and say, hey, I really liked when you said X, Y, and Z on stage. And I know that sometimes when you're in an event, you don't get a picture. So I'm going to send you a picture. So you're starting a relationship with a gift, right? But use that networking tab, because everybody who is interested in it or showed up to it or said they were coming or is going to be in that networking tab. And you now have the ability to connect with them directly, to send them messages. It is almost like you're in a group with them. So
yeah. No, this
people
is
join groups as you have direct connectivity. This is kind of a cool thing.
This is brilliant. And this is one of the many reasons that you don't have to invest in LinkedIn Premium, because it lets you send a DM without paying for LinkedIn, without paying for 100 emails per month or whatever.
And you're targeting, right? Because you're picking your events. So if your event is on, some kind of new coding, everybody who shows up to that event is also interested in that or already doing that. You go through and you pick that list. You can then communicate with the people you want. So it's a way to really focus your networking on LinkedIn, and LinkedIn's opened the door for you. So I think it's the coolest thing, and people
it's very cool.
It's there.
It's very cool. And the folks are saying what amazing stuff you're sharing. And I think that when you are in that networking event then you already have at least one thing in common with the other person. The only thing I will say watch out for, and you kind of alluded to that, Kevin, is that be careful when you reach out what you say. Because I had someone reach out yesterday because I'm attending an event which will happen, I think, tonight, 9 p.m.
my job is a complete block or delete with most people.
Yeah, so I'm attending an event. I think it's at 9 p.m. tonight, audio or LinkedIn. I can't remember, live. And this person, she saw that I'm attending and she said, oh, we are interested in the same thing. We happen to have this software which will make your life easier. Do you want to schedule 15 minutes?
That's a sales pitch. That's not going to go anywhere.
Do not reach out with, can you look at my resume? Can you look at our presentation? You're leading with what you want. I think even sometimes when it's a complete stranger, it might be also too early to lead with a gift. You have to sort of measure your response depending on how you think it's going to be perceived. The best is just to, establish a status quo. It's so great to connect with you. This was my favorite thing because it shows you did your homework, like Kevin said. So
and everything that works in social media is the same stuff that works in real life.
Works in real life.
Do it in real life. Don't do it in social media, right? If you go into a networking group and start trying to sell insurance, everybody's going to leave you in the room. Don't do it here, because it doesn't work either. And then it kind of blackballs you in a process.
100%. So a few questions I'm seeing here, but Sujata, don't worry. I'm going to do a quick recap at the end and we're going to talk about all the features. You can take your notes and I highly recommend that you watch the replay. So this was a juicy little tip number 7, and talk to us about tip number 8, Kevin.
I can't even say it. Tip number 8 is skills match. And this is new, but it's rolled out to, I think, almost everybody. And what that is when you go into the jobs tab, right, and you click on the job that you're interested in, if you have a basic account, free account, right, what you get is 5 of the top skills that job requires, and whether LinkedIn sees it in your profile. Now, LinkedIn could see it in your profile because you have it in your skills and your skill assigned and your top skill, right? Or they could see it based on AI interpreting your market value filters. But it says you have this out of the 5, you have 3, but you don't have 2 more, right? If you consistently look at those jobs and you're seeing ones that you have, but it always says you don't, that means you've got to perfect your content or put it in your skills area. So it's a great thing to kind of look at and track as you go. And this is part of the new redesign of the top card of all jobs. This is one I think is really cool. If you've got premium, it goes beyond, usually beyond 10. If you've got free basic, I think it's the first 5, but they're going to be the top 5. And I think those are really important to kind of start taking notes as you go along, right? Always.
And how do you see this, Kevin? In the jobs tab, you can see the skills match when you're applying to a job?
Well, no, even before that, when you look at a job, when you open it up, there's a new top card on the jobs. And one of the things is skills match. You click on that, and it's going to say you've got these out of this amount. And that's going to identify both what they see you have and also what they see you don't have. And if you have that, you better fix your content. That makes sense?
So this is new, Kevin?
It's been out for about 30 days.
Okay.
And you should be seeing more often. So
love it.
Cool tool. It used to be only premium got this information. Now it's premium and basic.
Understood. Lovely. Fantastic. And we're going to go over and finish these 10 points. And I see a question here, Rahul. If we have time in the end, we'll definitely make sure we answer. Otherwise, we'll answer after the live stream. And Kevin, wow, we're coming close to the home stretch. 5 minutes to go. 2 tips. The last, number 9.
Number 9, Resume Builder and ATS Format Checker. Now, what this does is if you don't have a resume, but you've been keeping up with your stuff on LinkedIn, right? So you've been adding in your positions and your achievements under those positions. What you can do is you click on the Jobs tab. Off to the left-hand side, there's going to be a little box. There's going to be one that says Resume Builder. Click on Resume Builder. And what it's going to do is it's going to grab your profile and put it into a format that you can then actually download. And it's going to be ATS ready in the sense that everything is there that needs to be there to apply, right? Really kind of cool. It'll also do a format checker. So if anything doesn't come across, much like when you apply and you upload a resume and 5 things are in the wrong place, this is going to tell you, hey, we think your position is now showing up in your company, blah, blah, blah. So you can either build it off your profile or you can upload your current resume, and this ATS format checker, which is on the Resume Builder page, and it's all the way down on the right-hand bottom corner. You don't normally see it. It's kind of hidden. Click that ATS format checker, and it's going to run it all through and say, this is what an ATS system is going to see when you apply. This is what you need to fix so you don't have to refix, because when you're applying and you're having to fix stuff like company name and title are in the wrong place, or this, disappeared, when you have to fix those things, believe it or not, your score in the applicant tracking system is lower than if you didn't have to fix it. This helps you set it up and ensure that you don't have to fix when you apply. Now, there's 300 plus ATSs. This is going to give you a good work for most of them, right? For the best practices, there may still be ones that still can't do it. Some of them are just terrible. But that's what it's going to do. It's going to help you build that resume, whether from your profile or for whatever you have that you want to load up. And it's going to make it ATS ready so that when you do apply, you're going to have less mistakes. Everything's going to come across. It's going to identify things that you need to have in there that you didn't think you did. So it's a cool tool, no charge to use. Definitely something everybody should use if they're applying online, if they're building a resume. This is a great tool to get closer. And it's going to give you suggestions, like in the content of the thing, don't do responsibilities, do achievements, put proof metrics in. So it's going to help guide you like a coach would.
Sure.
But of course, you've got to implement. So sometimes having a coach help you with this is better. But this is a tool if you don't have that money to pay on that coach, or you paid for some bad ones in the past, this is a tool that's going to get you much closer. And I think it's a really cool tool. And I've got a video on how to use it. And I've got a link to that format checker directly to the format checker if you want to skip the other component.
Perfect. So just blindly go and subscribe to Kevin's YouTube channel, and all that is in there. This also sounds new, and I heard what you said, and it's a bit surprising. So if you have to fix your resume according to what it's telling you, put the name of the company in the right place, put the other thing. You're saying you're ranked lower in the search results?
Score is lower.
The score is lower.
It never eliminates anybody, but it assigns a score.
Okay.
Very much like Google search does, right? It doesn't eliminate a website, but it assigns it a score. And if you're on page 3 or 15 or 150, nobody's ever going to see you, right?
Yeah.
If Google found things missing in your website, it would score you lower and you'd be page 150. That's what's happening here. Even though you can fix it, it's still going to score you lower because you had to fix it. You took more processing time. It's going to ding you. That's just how it's trying to make sense of the basically overflow of applications that the internet has allowed.
Understood. Yeah. Amazing. And let's tie this up with a bow with number 10.
All right. And this is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Everybody gets nervous about interviews. Everybody gets nervous about appearing on video, which a lot of interviews now are video based, right? And sometimes you never see the person on the other side. They just have you log in and it asks, AI asks you questions and you got to answer them. And believe it or not, it's doing scoring on the other side. So it's scoring, how did you answer it? Did you use filler words? Was your pitch at the right level? All those kind of things AI is scoring again so that they can make sense on the other side. They're going to give a ranked list. Everybody who did a video interview, here are the best of them, right? The natural tendency of any human is to do as least amount of work as we can. So we might look at the first 5, we might look at the second 5, we might look on the third 5, but like a Google search, we're not going to go to page 150 or video 150, right? So perfecting that is really important. And so this is actually LinkedIn's interview prep. And if you go to the job search tab, pardon me, it's going to be on the right-hand side, left-hand side, in a box about halfway down. It's going to call interview prep, video practice, and AI feedback. Once you open up interview prep, will be there.
Yes.
Now, what's cool is it's going to have like the top, I think it's like 400 and something questions now. If you have premium, it will give you guidance on the questions. But to me, that's not a reason to get premium because you can usually find the answers out or you already know them, right? To those questions. So you could go Google them and get good answers, as good as I think the ones that are provided on LinkedIn. But anybody can then say, I want to practice on video my answer. And so it allows you to then practice the answer to that question. You can store it for later retrieval, right? And if you wait a little bit of time after you click submit, you will then be notified that AI feedback is available. So it's going to tell you pitch, tone, if you have filler words, what the words were, how many times you use it. It's going to give you some coaching, right, to make you better at video. Now you can also forward that video to somebody else to critique. So if you got some friends who are real critical and might help you out, you could forward that to them and ask them of their opinion.
Love that.
That is the same tool when you do a video interview. What you're going to see in this feedback is the same stuff that a recruiter would see after you've taken that video. So it gets you comfortable with it. Then you can kind of see, oh, wow, here's how I can improve it. You can do it again. Make an even better score in the process.
Understood. So this is a very useful feature for someone who's, particularly if you think you might be going through an interview, like a higher view where you are speaking to a camera, but there's no person on the other side. This is a great way to practice. And even if you will be seeing a human on the other side, you're going to get direct feedback. And all of this is available under the jobs tab when you go to your LinkedIn profile. Definitely worth, checking out because I think I remember even a couple of years ago, Jillian talked about it, but I think that on my Supercharged Fridays, but I think that every single feature evolves and gets more polished with time. So comparing what it does today compared with past, you'll get a lot out of it. Amazing. There is so much. Can you imagine? There's so much we shared. One person even says, can you share a deck after this meeting? My dear, this is a free presentation for you. What more do you want? Go and watch the replay. Follow Kevin.
And I
Check
will
out
put
all his
the 10
newsletters.
points with links. I will post that in the comments,
It'll
and
all
you'll just
be in
have
a
to find it.
newsletter. You'll get
Yeah.
it better than a deck. Trust me, much more, much less passive. So amazing. I'm going to do a quick recap because we covered a lot right here on the top 10 LinkedIn features that you want to be mindful of, particularly in your job search and career transition. The first one, I'm not going to go through explain every one of them because we did that. Kevin did that in major detail. The first one we talked about was the market value for titles, locations, and skills, where you are. Not the time to be cute and creative in terms of your skills, in terms of your job titles. Stick to the drop down. The second one was Career Explorer, which is highly underrated as a tool, continues to do well, not very easily visible. You can check it out in the GitHub, and Saurabh, one of our guests on LinkedIn Live, was amazing and shared a link. It'll be there in the comments. The third is a brand new tool that's come out very, very recently. It's called Enhance. And this particular feature talks about like, how do you make a resume stronger? And remind me, you've covered so much. Resume is stronger.
Yep.
Then the fourth one is in the about section, and it says if you've got these top 5 skills, not 50 but 5, your top 5 skills, it'll pull them from your work experience. These are, if something is very new, it's going to be rolled out in the next 30 to 90 days. It'll come into your about section, and it'll also take in how many years of experience you have in that. So this is fairly new as well. The point number 5 is related to the feed. Who are you paying attention to? What are you reading? If you're targeting a certain company or certain recruiter, there is a way to follow them. Do a search so you only see their feed or their posts in the last 24, 48 hours, etc. You bookmark that. Can you imagine? You only see their stuff. And if you do this for 5, 10 people that you're targeting, it's a free version of like a sales navigator that business owners do. Then most company pages will have something at the bottom that says, and I think somebody wrote that and that was very helpful. Yeah, it's called I am interested, or there was a detailed Ralph wrote this, right? If you go to the about section, you should see interested in working with us in the future. Click yes. Because you will show up higher in the search results. Ralph, thank you for adding that. That makes it makes it more memorable to understand what it's going to be called. The 7th feature we talked about is networking. When you attend an audio event or a LinkedIn event like this right now, you're watching, even on the replay, you have access to every single person who's a participant. If you liked something, share it with them. Not the place to sell, not the place to ask for favors, but particularly if they are total strangers. There's a skills match section, which is there on the jobs tab, which helps you to ensure that the right skills are showing up for the jobs that you're interested in before you apply. That's really key. Yeah. It's number 9 was the resume builder and ATS format checker, particularly on the formatting side of things. And if you're building a resume from scratch, there's no need to get overwhelmed because LinkedIn's got your back. And finally, the video interview prep is very useful to practice rather than practice on a phone or practice with someone you're not very comfortable. Practice with this, and it'll give you feedback on how you did based on the top questions. If there were any fillers like etc. Amazing. Oh, wow. Amazing. As always, Kevin, you do not disappoint. You do not hold back. You do not gatekeep. This has been such a pleasure. And if you're not watching, if you're not following Kevin and you are actively in transition and you are interested in milking the most out of LinkedIn, definitely check out Kevin's profile. Kevin and Dana, his wife, run this amazing company called TNT Brand Strategist. They help people with resumes, with LinkedIn profiles. They work with companies. They work with individuals. You definitely can make the most with Kevin and Dana's help. So amazing. And people are like, wow, I'm so glad I caught this. Wow, video interview prep. I had no idea. Thank you. Amazing. Thank you for sharing. Hope we can find these tips. Yes, Kevin has been very kind to send me last night, middle of the night for me, all of these tips on a Word document. I will make sure I post all of them. Check out in one of the comments on LinkedIn. Unfortunately, Kevin, I'm so irritated. The pinned comment thing is gone.
It was there. I know.
I was like 30 days that it's gone. So I'm like,
I'm going to add it to my first comment. I'll add the list. Because that first comment, anytime you're the first to comment, that always sticks at the top as most relevant. So I will add it there. So that way people will be able to find it. It may be hot. You may have to go more comments, but it'll be my first comment on this live. You should be able to find it there.
Yeah.
That will help, and that'll have links and everything else. And
amazing.
Pranal, I
Amazing.
appreciate you having me. This has been
No,
fun.
of course. This is my pleasure. And if you guys have still further questions, we're over an hour. We've been live for over an hour. Just feel free to put them right there in the comment section, particularly on LinkedIn, on YouTube, not the chat, but on LinkedIn. And I'll make sure I answer them by the end of the day. Amazing. Thank you so much. And guys, please give lots of likes. If you're watching us on LinkedIn, give us that applause emoji for Kevin, for being here, for being awesome. And I shall see you at the same time next week on Supercharged Fridays. Take care, everyone. Have a lovely Friday and weekend. And Kevin, thanks so much again.
Y'all take care.